Well, the US Treasury just confronted Bitcoin and all other cryptocurrencies. So settle in and we'll talk about what exactly happened today and what this might mean to your crypto portfolio. So cryptos in general have had a hard go at it the last week or so, especially in the last day where some cryptos slid as much as 50%. And some small cap cryptos were hit much harder than that. But today things were starting to go in an upwards trend. They're still generally upwards, but then the US Treasury came out with a press release and just kind of smacked Bitcoin and other cryptos, hopefully momentarily, but let's get into the details here. So the IRS and the Treasury are kind of doing this overhaul right now on taxes through the American Families Plan tax compliance agenda. Basically, with the American Families Plan, they need a whole lot of money to fund all these various programs. And one of the ways that they're going to get more money is not just by raising taxes, but by making sure people are paying the taxes that they should already be paying. And the US Treasury released a report with a whole bunch of guidelines and a whole bunch of things that they're going to do. And this affects cryptocurrencies. So first we're going to do a summary of the events here, then we're going to get into the actual document and then talk about how that has affected cryptos today. So first off, with the little summary here, today, the U.S. Department of Treasury released a report on a set of tax compliance measures to increase fairness in the tax system and foster a tax system where Americans pay the taxes that they owe. And they're seeking to close what they're calling the tax gap, the difference between what people owe on their taxes and what they actually pay on their taxes. And according to their analysis, their measures that they're doing, they're saying that that tax gap was $600 billion in 2019 and is going to be $7 trillion over the course of the next decade. So that's taxes that are already due without raising any tax rates on anything. They're saying that there's $7 trillion out there in funding that people are not paying that they should legally be paying. And they're trying to close that gap. So not only raise taxes, but also collect the taxes that already are supposed to be collected. And one of those things that they're doing is with cryptocurrencies. So, well, they say roughly 99% of taxes due on wages paid to the IRS are paid. But on less visible sources of income, it's estimated to be 45%. So traditionally, that's something like cash. You know, someone does a job on the side, they collect some cash. Are they going to report that to the IRS? There's a big incentive not to in most cases. And now they're looking at cryptocurrencies and saying, hey, this is kind of the same deal. This is something that's somewhat small right now relative to the entire economy, but it's gaining steam. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and we're going to see some changes here. So here are some of the non-crypto changes that they're doing, and then we'll get into the crypto changes. So first off, they have a multi-year commitment to rebuild the IRS, including nearly $80 billion in resources over the next decade to just improve the IRS's system, to hire people, to establish new systems. So funding is in place to make investments with large fixed costs like modernizing information technology, improving data analytic approaches, and hiring and training agents dedicated to enforce these tax activities. And they're also looking for more complete information. So they're saying on information where they can gather third-party information as well as self-reported information, the amount of tax rate paid at a correct rate is 95%. But when it's just self-reported, the estimated amount that people are paying or the estimated compliance to the full amount is only 50% or less. So they're trying to make a system where they can gather information from multiple sources. And they're saying that their technology is very, very old. They say that their computer and file systems date back to the 1960s, which is absolutely insane to think about. I mean, in the 1960s, a computer filled up an entire huge room and it was less powerful than my phone right here. So obviously they need an overhaul there, and they use a programming language that is no longer taught, apparently. So they're going to try to develop some kind of a machine learning to be able to compare situations, to gather documents. If only there was a service like this, like Palantir, that could do this, probably cheaper than $80 billion to overhaul this in the next 10 years. But if you're trying to avoid taxes, you probably don't want Palantir to take this job. This is my Palantir plug because, I mean, it sounds like exactly something that they would do and probably excel at. So I wonder, maybe there's a contract in the works there. Maybe Alex Karp is listening to this, and you'll reach out to the Treasury and the IRS. But anyways, something else I highlighted that I thought was interesting was they get 1.4 billion cyber attacks a year at the IRS. That seems impossibly high. That is insane how many cyber attacks they receive every single year. But further on this, This was just a brief summary. They also came out with this 24-page summary of events and actions that they plan on taking. And this is where they really dive into what exactly they're going to do with cryptos. So challenges of cash and virtual currencies. So they are creating new systems to help with information reporting and just make sure that people are reporting the correct amounts. That way they can get their, correct cut of everything everyone makes all the time. But this isn't an anti-tax video. It's just they're cracking down on all things cryptocurrencies. It is what it is, I suppose, but it's hurting the crypto market a little bit. So they're saying it's imperative to prevent business income from being shielded from reporting requirements. So they want systems that make it a little bit more tough to skim the guidelines here. And they have a new Form 1099 that will report this kind of thing, these kinds of payments to service providers and businesses who may be trying to make their income invisible to the IRS. And they say this is why the president's proposal includes additional resources for the IRS to address the growth of crypto assets. Despite constituting a relatively small portion of business income today, they're saying that cryptocurrency transactions are likely to rise in the importance in the next decade, especially in the presence of a broad-based financial account reporting regime. So this is actually kind of a supporting statement of cryptos in that they're saying, hey, this thing's here to stay. It's getting bigger and bigger. So, we need to set some systems in place for when this is huge. So that's actually kind of like a positive for cryptos in general. It's kind of like a bullish statement like, hey, the IRS, the Treasury is saying, this is going to be a big thing. Let's get our cut of this. So they're saying within the context of the new financial account reporting regime, cryptocurrencies and crypto asset exchange accounts and payment service accounts that accept cryptocurrencies would be covered. So basically transactions using cryptocurrencies would be covered with their new reporting systems, their reporting regime. That way, things cannot be hidden from the IRS. The IRS, taxes always win in the end. And then they say even with cash transactions and regular crypto transactions, they have to be reported in the future of more than $10,000. Just like if you were to deposit $10,000 into your bank account, that gets reported to the IRS. That's a very common practice. Now, I hope that they're at least smart about this. Now, we don't know exactly when this is actually going to be implemented and go in place, but I hope that they're smart about this because a lot of things with like crypto, because certain exchanges have certain cryptos, you have to buy a crypto here, exchange it to, buy a crypto here. There's a lot of transferring between different coins, and I can see situations where it could look like, a $10,000, lump sum of cash could look like something, more around $30,000 with all the times it has to transfer from one coin to another and then to another account. So hopefully they are smart about that and that doesn't throw any issues. But the cryptocurrency community is just rightfully a little bit concerned about this when, this news just broke today. The market's corrected a little bit, and we can take a look at Bitcoin, who this was the big dip yesterday. And congrats to anyone who bought that dip, because if you were able to get in at $29,000 yesterday, you are sitting pretty right now and probably even better in the coming days and weeks. But anyways, it was kind of, it was going upwards. It was in an upwards trend. And even this morning, we saw a nice little bump up here. And then this report came out and boom. This is literally exactly when the report came out. You probably can't see this number, but it came out at 9 a.m. exactly. And the 9 a.m. on the screen here is exactly when it dropped, and now it's recovering as we speak. So hopefully it doesn't have too much of a lasting effect, but this is just one of many things that are just kind of like smacking cryptos right now. And hopefully they make it out stronger than ever. If they can weather this storm, I think it just kind of builds up that thick skin and makes it better in the long run. And then if we just take a look at the cryptos in general in the last day, basically everything is up right now. With very few coins being down, Bitcoin is up 4% on the day, still obviously down a huge chunk in the last 7 days. And if you watched my video yesterday, I bought 5 different coins. Every single one of those coins is up. That's not saying a whole lot because, like I said, pretty much every single coin is up. But we bought Bitcoin, we bought Ethereum, which is up 8% for the day, still down 24%. But overall, we're still way up, especially if you've been following this content for a while. Cardano up 13%, which is awesome to see. I love seeing my girl Ada thriving. Cardano actually wasn't hit that hard yesterday comparing to a lot of other coins, and I added to my position there, and I'm glad I did when I did because I'm up 12-13% or something like that since when I bought. XRP bought some of that as well. Doge up 12.7%. Man, Doge is just that's a wild ride if you're holding Doge with these price swings of 20+% every single day. That I'd be checking my portfolio 24/7 if I had a significant position in Doge right now. And also, just as a brief announcement, the Patreon has filled up for the regular buy alerts. It's completely sold out as of right now. There's still some spots open in the higher tiers for the monthly Zoom calls for more like dedicated investors and things like that. But this is completely sold out as of right now. So congrats to everyone who got in before that sold out. And overall, with cryptos right now, it just seems like everything's getting thrown at them. There's this FUD going around. There's, regulatory concerns. There's concerns with China and Elon Musk. But like I said, I think this will build up the thick skin. And in the long run, we'll look back and be like, oh, that was just a small little road bump, on the long path to something that's very exciting and revolutionary. So I would like to thank you for watching, and I hope you have a profitable day.